This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On the Air.
Grab your bookmarks and pack your imagination. This is Parisha's Book Club on OAR FM Youth Zone, where stories come alive. We're diving in 3, 2, 1. Kia ora to my lovely book club members. You are tuned into Parisha's Book Club, the best corner of your radio where stories jump off the page and take on an awesome ride. Today, we're digging deep underground for a super spooky sci-fi adventure. We're exploring the classic Kiwi book, Under the Mountain by Maurice Gee. It is a story about twins with special powers, giant sleeping volcanoes, and some creepy, shape-shifting aliens. To discuss this book, I have a fantastic guest in the studio with me. She is a member of Parliament for our very own city, Dunedin. Drumroll, Rachel Brooking. Welcome to the studio, Rachel. How are you doing today?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me.
Rachel, can you tell us about yourself and what it is like being the MP for beautiful Dunedin?
Well, being the MP for beautiful Dunedin is a great privilege. It's very interesting and highly varied. I have to spend quite a lot of time in Wellington, where Parliament is, and with the Beehive, and then I have to travel around a lot of New Zealand as well. But then, days like today, I get to be in Dunedin and talk to wonderful people like you. So that's great.
That sounds like such a busy and important job. Now, to get things started, I'm going to ask you one of my signature questions. Do you have a special favourite spot where you just love to get cozy and escape into a good book?
Yes, I do. I have a very comfortable chair where you can pull it back a bit, and it's got a footrest as well, and it's just in my lounge. And if you get the sun in the right position, you can be in the sun, lying slightly back with your legs out, reading a book. But more often than not, it's actually just boring papers that I've got to be reading.
Growing up, were you a huge reader? If yes, then what kinds of stories do you love to read?
I did read a lot as a child. Not as a little young kid, but when I was probably about 8, I got really into Roald Dahl and all of Roald Dahl's stories. And then Tessa Duda, who's a New Zealand author, and she wrote about a girl called Alex who was a swimmer. And then when I was at maybe intermediate age, I read a lot of books about World War II and sort of from children's perspectives.
Yeah. Brilliant. Now let us do the book in a nutshell. Rachel, you picked this brilliant book, so you get to guide us through it. Please give us a nutshell summary. Who are Rachel and Theo, and what exactly is hiding under Auckland?
Yes, so this is about Under the Mountain, the book by Maurice Gee. And Maurice Gee was a sci-fi writer of children's books, and he wrote some other ones as well that are for slightly older kids than this one. And then he wrote some adult books too. And he recently passed away, but he's an awesome author. So I read Under the Mountain when I was very young, and I haven't read it since then.
Wow. So
you have to bear with me on my plot summary. But the thing is that Rachel and Theo were twins, red-headed twins, and they had a psychic bond. And they are in Auckland, which for someone in Dunedin, when I was growing up in Dunedin, Auckland was very exotic compared with Dunedin. It's very far away when I was a child and much hotter than Dunedin.
Yeah,
so they met a kind man who gave them magical stones, and he wanted them to use their special psychic powers to ward off some evil creatures that were hiding under the mountain.
The villains in this book, the Wilberforces, give me the absolute shivers. How would you describe these shape-shifting slug creatures to someone who has never ever read the book?
Wow, that they appear normal on the face of it, and then that they change into these very scary, sluggy things, and very, very giant and terrifying, with only bad intent.
Yikes. What are the main ingredients that make this book such a legendary New Zealand story, and who would you recommend it to?
I would recommend it to primary aged kids, so maybe sort of that 8 to 10, 8 to 11 age, I think would be really good. And then if you really like it, then look at Maurice Gee's Half Men of O series that comes.
My teacher is reading of that to us.
Yeah, awesome. And then there's also a movie that was made of it. Oh. And one of the good guys, Mr. Jones, he's played by Sam Neill, who's a very famous New Zealand actor. But unfortunately, he just passed away this week. But he's very well loved in New Zealand and all around the world. There's been beautiful tributes to him because he was someone who really cared about other people and about our environment as well.
Yeah. Perfect. Now that we know the book and the spooky vibe, let us jump into a deep dive discussion. Rachel, twins Theo and Rachel have a special telepathic bond. If you could have one special power like them, what would it be and why?
That is a good question. I think sometimes it would be amazing to be able to read other people's minds. Yeah. But then maybe it'd be quite scary as well if you didn't like what you saw.
Yeah.
But that would be one thing I'd be interested in.
I'd like that as well. That's awesome. This book talks about real Auckland volcanoes. Does reading a story about places you can visit make it more fun and exciting?
Yeah, I think so, and particularly because this book is set in New Zealand, and even though when I read it, I didn't go to Auckland that often, but my grandfather lived in Auckland, so I would go to Auckland sometimes. And I remember the first time I went and sort of saw some of these volcanoes after reading the book, it felt really good to be able to think, this is where it was all set. It makes some more sense now.
Yeah. The twins must be incredibly brave to face Mr. Jones and the Wilberforces, even when they're totally terrified. What do you think the story teaches us about courage and standing up to things that scare us?
Yeah, I think part of what it teaches is that it's good to have a friend to confide in and to work with, and then when one of you is not doing so well, that maybe the other one can step up. So I'd say teamwork is really important. Yeah,
teamwork. Love that. Deep dive done. Now we're switching pages into our short reading. Rachel, since you chose this Kiwi classic, you get to pick a little moment to share with us. You can read your absolute favorite passage of the book to all of us. Whenever you're ready.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. I haven't come prepared with the book with me. But I will tell you that there is a scene where the two twins are sitting around a pool and they have to clear their minds. They have to totally clear their minds and focus on moving the stones, and they manage to clear their minds. And I think that's an amazing thing to be able to do, to just clear your mind of all the clutter and really focus on something, whether it's a psychic power or just the ability to concentrate and do something really well.
Oh my goodness. That's amazing. Now we're heading into our fun game. Since twins are always dodging the slimy Wilberforces, we are playing Alien Escape Plan. I will give you a crazy alien emergency and you must tell me your fastest, funniest survival trick. Ready?
I hope so.
Yeah. Problem number 1. A UFO crashes into the Beehive right in the middle of your big MP speech. The aliens demand New Zealand's absolute best snack. What do you feed them?
Well, when I'm in Parliament doing a speech, there is normally other members of Parliament quite close by because we're in the chamber, and we always have a stash of lollies because you're not allowed to eat anything in the house in Parliament where we do the debates. You're only allowed glasses of water and lollies. And my favourite lolly is a little fake Coca-Cola bottle with sugar on it, and I think that's the best lolly, so that's what I'll be giving them.
Yeah. I'm definitely trying that one. Imagine these slimy aliens are turning all the seagulls of our peninsula into robots. What song do you blast from a megaphone to short-circuit their slimy brains?
I think it might be one about dancing and encouraging the aliens to go and dance about rather than turning the birds into robots. That seems like a bad thing to be happening.
Yeah, that's really bad. Okay, final one. You find the secret trapdoor under your house that leads to an underground volcano. You have to sneak past the alien guards to close the volcano lid. What is your ultimate master disguise?
Well, given these aliens seem to like birds and robots, I think I would have a disguise as a robot, and I might have to wear some boxes and put tin foil on the boxes to look like a good old-fashioned version of a robot.
Yeah. Marvellous. I surely trust you to save Dunedin from aliens any day. Now it is time for this week's listener challenge. This week, I want you to dream up your very own underground creature. If a secret species lived under your town, what would they look like? Are they friendly, fluffy giants or slimy shapeshifters? Draw them, colour them in, and share your masterpiece with your family. So, Rachel, since you're here, I have some questions. How is it like to be an MP at Dunedin?
Wow. It is a very busy job. So you have to be in Wellington a lot, about almost half of the time you're in Wellington, speaking on a whole lot of different laws that apply about a wide range of things. So we might be talking about the environment, or we might be talking about healthcare, or we might be talking about schools and education. You name it, we could be talking about it. So you've got to be ready to learn about something that you might not have thought about very much before, which is super interesting. Then you get to specialise in different topics. So I'm an opposition member of Parliament, which means we're not in government, so I can't be a minister, but I can be a spokesperson. So I'm a spokesperson for the environment and for space and for food safety and for resource management reform. So what that means is that I get to learn a whole lot of things about those topics and ask questions and think about, well, if I was in government, if I was in power, what would I do and what would my party do about those different issues? So how would we look after the environment? What would we do to be excited about the space industry for young people like yourself, and that there might be future jobs and opportunities in space, but also what are the consequences of relying on so many satellites, things in space and all the things that are happening in space. So I think about those sorts of issues and talk to people involved in the industry and the regulators, people who might be opposed, on the people who worry about different things, and people who are really big advocates for them too.
Yeah, we're always learning something.
That's right.
What would you suggest to someone who is young like me and wants to make a difference? What guidelines should they follow? Any advice you would like to give?
Sure. I think it's really good to be authentic always. And so be yourself. That's what I'm saying. Be yourself. If you get really excited about some things, then that's great. And if you're serious, then that's great too. Be you would be my first piece of advice. Yeah. And to really think about the things that motivate you. So whether that you're really motivated by a better environment, or you might be motivated by wanting justice for everybody, or you might think that everyone should be kinder to each other, whatever it is, to embrace what motivates you and what keeps you interested and what things you can concentrate on. So when you just start deciding later on what you might want to study, if you go to university or polytech, that you do the thing that really you're going to really enjoy doing, and as a result, you'll do better at it.
Yay. Being an MP, what is the most important thing or project that is close to your heart? Would you like to share it?
Sure. So, as I said, I'm our environmental spokesperson. Yeah. And that is very important to me, that we stop polluting both our atmosphere with climate change,
Yeah.
climate pollution, but also that we don't pollute our rivers and that we don't chop down all of our native plants and that we look after
Yeah.
what biodiversity, so the different animals and plants that we have in New Zealand. So those are the things that I spend my time working on.
Yeah. Otherwise, they might get endangered and extinct.
That's right. And there's lots of endangered species in New Zealand already, and we want them to survive.
Yeah, grow.
Yeah, that's right. Rather than become extinct, because extinction is forever.
Yeah. There is a huge pollution problem in the world. Do we also have that problem?
New Zealand does have a pollution problem, so some of the pollution is hard to see when you're talking about climate pollution, so things that lead to climate change, so sea level rise, issues like that, more storms in New Zealand. So you get that from fossil fuels being burnt. So when you think about cars being driven around, burning petrol, then that is some climate pollution, and the whole world has been trying to deal with climate pollution and agreeing to try and stop burning those fossil fuels. And New Zealand has signed up to that and has been doing some things, but not enough. We need to do more.
Yeah.
In terms of our rivers, there's still we've got some problems with nitrates going into rivers from fertiliser and from animals on the land. And we've got a huge problem in New Zealand with sediment. So sediment, if you think of it like mud, there's a whole lot of mud and it runs off into the river or into the ocean. And that can come from people building a house and digging up some land, and then there'll be some mud and there'll be a rainfall and it will wash into the rivers. That's a problem in New Zealand as well.
Yes, saying of climate change, this July was the hottest July since 1947 in Dunedin. So what can we do to have a look at the problem of climate change? Like as kids, what can we do?
Well, I think you can do lots of things. You can talk to your teachers about it and see if you can do some school projects on it. You can talk to your parents about it. You can join other kids in petitioning politicians and the like. You can write to politicians and think about how you kids are living your life and what you're reliant on. And you've got to be careful with climate change. You don't want to be so bossy that you're telling everybody what to do. You want to be more solution focused. So where are some things where people can maybe save some money and reduce climate pollution at the same time? So that might be not using a plastic drink bottle when you can use water from the tap, for instance.
Yeah.
Because plastic comes from fossil fuels. But if you go around telling everyone that you can never use a plastic bottle again, then they might not want to listen to you anymore.
Exactly. Yes, every small bit helps. Now, as a leader, what would you say are good qualities of leadership? Like as us kids, what should I focus on to become some like you?
Well, I think it's good to be curious about other people and to think of more than just yourself.
Yeah.
So going back to what I was saying earlier about knowing what motivates you, knowing what it is that you want to achieve, and then thinking about how you can work with other people to achieve that. I think that is the best mode of leadership, and that everybody who thinks about someone else is a leader.
Yeah.
So whether it's thinking about your neighbour on a cold day and checking in that they haven't slipped on the ice, I'm thinking of the recent weather, or whether it's bringing your mum a cup of tea, that is leadership.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can scale that up.
To wrap up, Rachel, one last question. If this book could give a piece of advice to children about being brave and facing the unknown, what would it be?
Yeah, I think it's having some trust in your own self, that even though you're a kid, you can still do a whole lot of things, and in their case, you can save the world.
Yay. Wonderful. That's it for today. We talked about the legendary New Zealand book, Under the Mountain by Maurice Gee, with our fantastic MP, Rachel Brooking. Thank you so much, Rachel, for joining me in the studio today.
Thanks for having me.
It was so lovely talking to you. Rachel, I'm Maurice. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep turning pages and watch out for volcanoes. Ka kite. Thanks for joining our book club. I hope you enjoyed today's pick. You can listen to all our episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and oar.org.nz. Maurice's book club is fortnightly Fridays at 4:30 p.m. on OAR FM 105.4 FM and 1575 AM. I'm Maurice. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, keep turning pages.
This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On the Air.